Thank you for joining us on World Now. I am Ekanem Ikpeme. Police in Uganda have denied allegations indicating that the country's main opposition candidate in the presidential election, Bobi Wine, was abducted on Friday evening as votes were being counted. But Bobi Wine's party said a helicopter landed on the grounds of his house in the country's capital, Kampala, and forcibly took him to an unknown location. Initially, Bobi Wine's son, Solomon, said his parents were seized, but later reportedly claimed his father escaped and his mother was still under house arrest, leading to confusion over the whereabouts of the opposition leader. Meanwhile, electoral figures from Thursday's election received from 94% of polling stations have put the 81-year-old President Yoweri Museveni ahead with 72% of the vote, with Bobi Wine clinching 24%. In his reaction, the pop star turned politician told his supporters to ignore the results, which he called fake, saying the authorities were stealing the vote, but he has not provided any evidence to back up his claim. And Ugandans are having difficulty accessing the internet to verify information due to an internet blackout. Now for a closer look into Uganda's election, an international relations expert and founder of the Pan-African Forum Limited, Dr. David Matsanga, joins me from London. Hello, Dr. Matsanga. Hello, Dr. Matsanga.
Yes, thank you very much for inviting me here.
I am very happy to see you again. How have you been? And how's London this afternoon?
I am a Ugandan, and one of the elders in Uganda. I am one of the few people who has brought back those parties. I campaigned for parties to return to Uganda.
Okay, so let's dive into our talking points for today. The situation in Uganda following the country's January 15th presidential election. Now, there are contradictions between the government's report and the opposition's report with regards to the whereabouts of the opposition candidate, Bobi Wine. What do you think is really going on? Is this a case of politics of desperation?
It's politics. He's in his house. He hasn't gone anywhere else. I've rung his line. I've rung everybody. Remember, I am also in London, and we have means. All this springing up of helicopter and other things, this social media in the diaspora. But Bob Wine is in his house safe, and he doesn't want to. I don't know what he wants to do, but he's in his house. There is no abduction. There was no helicopter. Helicopters are doing everything in Kampala, and we know that. We have approved that.
Are you saying this as a fact? Do you have the facts that he is in his house?
Yes.
Because on Saturday, he went on social media to say that he escaped a night raid, and he's in hiding. So how are you so sure he's in his house?
Yes, my brother is a member of parliament who is my constituency only in the world that gave Bob Wine votes away from his Uganda area. The leader of opposition, of the chief whip of the new party is Matsanga's brother. So can he tell me that it's a lie? No, he's in his house, and I've called the number. Call his number if you have it. But I can't disclose his number here on public. He's in his house. Let me tell you, elections have been declared. Museveni has won with 71.65%, which I predicted. I studied the subject in political science to the last riot on planet Earth. I told people Museveni will get between 60 to 70%, minus error of margin 5, less 5, more 5. He got it. This guy did not campaign. This guy just insulted Museveni for the 90 days. And he has insulted Museveni for 5 years without preparing the party, without preparing the opposition. He has actually injured us more. Most of us who thought he could come and defend and put a policy alternative government.
Okay, so
the elections are over.
Let's put it in perspective. You're talking about the outcome of the election. So President Yoweri Museveni has ruled this country since 1986, and latest reports say he is again leading in the country's election. This announcement has sparked, just a moment, has sparked violent protests. What do you think the AU should be saying at this time?
Madam, you are behind the news. Uganda Electoral Commission has announced the results of 2026 elections. It's over. President Museveni has won with 75.65. Chagulanyi has won with 24% point something, and others. It's over. It's closed. So the reports are going to come out. African Union has written its interim report, which criticizes some of the things which the Electoral Commission should do. All observers, I observe elections in 65 countries for 40 years. I've been one of the observers. In Nigeria, I was an observer. I know how elections are observed. We have written, these things do happen. The 40 years, yes, but Ugandans have said they like the market. So do we now kill ourselves because Museveni has won? What we call upon Ugandans now peacefully go to court. Those who feel there were some irregularities, go to court. We are fed up with violence. Our country does not need violence. Our country does not need demonstrations because of keyboard warriors who are in US, London, Dubai, Qatar, writing.
All right, let's look at the signals that President Museveni's stay in power could be sending to the world about leadership in Africa at this time. Would you say it is impressive by any chance?
I am not here to. I'm one of the few people who likes to change the whole entire thing of democracy. In fact, Ibrahim is doing well in Burkina Faso. Niger has money in the banks. Mali, they are doing very well. If you go to Mali, you can change money. What President Museveni has done in the 40 years, I am not his party, but I speak the truth. He has brought security, which Ugandans lacked. We lacked security. There is enough security. He has brought infrastructure. There are industries. He has tried on the question of education, free education in Uganda. He has done good roads at beginning. He has brought power, electricity. We have extra electricity now in Uganda, better than Nigeria. He has done quite a lot of things, but there are certain things like corruption, which we must also fight, all of us, all Ugandans. I am not part of them because I live in London, but most Ugandans must fight corruption. There are things that the leader has done very well in these 40 years, and therefore, I cannot come here and tell a lie that there is nothing has done. The question of human rights, yes, human rights in Africa, everywhere, even Nigeria, where you are, they are being abused every day, and there are reports coming out. People are being abducted. But in Uganda, you can't abduct people. You can't. You can't just abduct and go. You can't beat Ugandans and go. That is what Ugandans voted for today. They liked Museveni because he has brought that tenure of security.
If you can
people
hear
can
me,
die over
if you can
Yes.
hear me, you have scored President Museveni really high. But I'd like to ask you, what about the violence? Would you say the police have handled the protesters ethically or pressing those they are meant to protect?
My sister, in Africa, in the third world countries, democracy is only 67 years. In London, democracy is 1,000 years. You can find a lady seated, a pregnant lady in a bus cannot stand when you, who is not pregnant, is in a seat. We haven't reached there. Even in Nigeria, yourself, you haven't reached there. Police in Africa, some of them act brutally. Yes, they do. There are some elements of police, but also the behavior of opposition parties. If you also organize goons, you organize people to beat others, You do a counter protection unit. You wear uniforms. You do whatever you do. Let's campaign knowing that there is a country called Uganda. For us, some of us, the elders, gave Mr. Bob Wine advice, but he doesn't take advice. He is more of a dictator himself within the party. That party would have won so many hearts of Ugandans. But Mr. Bob Wine is a terrible dictator, worse than even Museveni in his political party. And I want to tell you the truth, because I've been in opposition for almost 40 years now. I know everything. I'm one of those who fought President Museveni. We're using the gun. And we gave up. We came on peace talks. We finished. This guy is more of a dictator than Museveni.
So in other words, you are supporting the manhandling of the protesters.
I'm not supporting manhandling. I fight for human rights. I'm a human rights legal international expert, lawyer. I fight for people, including the tenure who were abducted from Nigeria, including Namdi Khan, including all those people. I fight for them. I don't want people to be beaten, but I want also the people that I'm fighting for to behave. To behave. If the government is going to be brutal, if you feel that you don't want to take part in an election, there's no in Uganda that says you should go into an election. Stay home, go. You can see the number of people who did not turn up to vote. 10 million people out of 21. Is that an election? Sit home if you feel you are not comfortable. But when you go out to antagonize the police, this is not, election is one day. The country remains. So those people who want to come up and destroy property, there are some people who have worked hard to build those smaller shops. Our mothers, our brothers, we work hard in the diaspora and send money home. We don't want that money to be destroyed by violence. And the last point, one of the points I want to make before we go, this question of foreign-funded opposition.
All right, so I'd like to take you back.
Yes.
I'd like to take you back. I know you have spoken really highly of President Museveni, but don't you think that he's staying too long in power and the people are now tired?
When they get tired, why did they vote? 7 million of them voted, even including my constituency. If Museveni was rigging election, he should have rigged my brother who is a member of the NUP. My constituency people woke up and said, okay, let's vote. Let's give NUP and give Museveni more votes. They voted the MP. My brother was voted because he does very well in that constituency. And then the vote in my county, there are more votes in my constituency, more votes from Museveni than the party that they elected, Baptist Nambeshi, who is my cousin brother. So look, this election had a few bottlenecks. One of them, the BVKK something, which did happen also in Nigeria. 94 million people in Nigeria registered to vote. Only 26 turned up. 68 million dived into Atlantic Ocean. Now they have come back. Elections in Africa are like that, my sister.
Dr. Mutsanga, we can only hope for the best for Uganda. It is a good place to rest our conversation. It is always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you for your time.
And I want you to take it very clearly that I am not a member of President Museveni's party. I am an independent international intellectual observer.
I'll keep that in view. I'll keep that in view. Thank you. Now, moving on, you're watching World Now. We'll be back after this time out.